sir.
Okay. So good morning to all.
Morning.
This is the beginning of one of the best initiatives by the Alumni Association of the college to the students. There are many groups among the alumni who have been interacting about on many of the situations after the COVID. അതിൽ നിന്നാണ് ഇങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു ആശയം വളരെ സ്ട്രോങ് ആയിട്ട് പുറത്തേക്ക് വന്നത്. So we formed a small group of alumni. We collected information and we gathered enough ideas to start this. So what we are going to do now is a kind of pilot project. So we have formed a group of teachers who are in the ground in the college, a group of alumni who are taking the lead. And we are now going to form a team of students who are going to be the first beneficiaries. ഈ കോവിഡ് വന്നപ്പോൾ പല കാര്യങ്ങളും നമുക്ക് ആശങ്കകളുണ്ട്. നമ്മുടെ പ്രൊഫൈലിനെ പറ്റി, ജോബിനെ പറ്റി, കരിയറിനെ പറ്റി എല്ലാം. അപ്പൊ അതെല്ലാം തീർക്കാനുള്ള ഒരു നല്ല മാർഗമായിട്ടാണ് നമ്മൾ ഇതിനെ കാണുന്നത്. അലുമിനി അസോസിയേഷൻ പല കാര്യങ്ങളും കോളേജിന് വേണ്ടി ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. ഇതിന് പാരലായിട്ടാണ് നമ്മളൊരു ലാപ്ടോപ്പ് സ്പോൺസറിങ് സ്കീം തുടങ്ങി. നമ്മൾ 101 പേർക്ക് ലാപ്ടോപ്പ് പ്രൊവൈഡ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. കുറച്ച് പേർക്ക് ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റ് ഫ്രീ ലോൺ കൊടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. അപ്പൊ അങ്ങനെ ഇന്നത്തെ പുതിയ സാഹചര്യത്തിൽ we are trying to help the students in the best possible manner. അതിന്റെ ഒരു ഇനിഷ്യേറ്റീവ് ആണ് ഈ പ്രോഗ്രാം. So with these introductory remarks, I hand over to Sri Santosh. Santosh is from 94 batch electrical engineering, and he is the CEO of ICT Academy, a Kerala government initiative. Santosh, please.
Thank you so much, sir, and welcoming all the esteemed panel members of today's session, and also, most importantly, all the wonderful students of GECT. This is indeed an honor for me in person, because to be a part of this such an illustrious panel members of over 300 odd years of experience, collective experience, if you look at it, is something which is amazing. So without much ado, I will get into the job of doing the hosting of it. I don't think I'm qualified to be a moderator. My job, I think Krishnamurthy sir has very kindly given me the baton to conduct this session on time, start on time, stop on time. So I'm just trying to do that with all your permissions and blessings. I hope we will have a great session today. It is indeed my pleasure and privilege to invite Dr. Sheba, who is the principal of GECT. I know ma'am, even before she becoming the principal here, one of the wonderful academic leaders I have come across, very, very energetic, has the desire to do some unique things into the educational field, and more importantly, very passionate about teaching. So teacher, over to you and welcome to the session.
Thank you, Santosh. First of all, I would like to thank Sri Santosh and our respected alumni members for the support you have provided to this initiative and also to organize this program. And the C2C, as Krishnamurthy sir had given a brief introduction about this, and C2C is a new initiative of our alumni association for creating a platform to provide professional mentoring to the students presently studying in our institution by alumni members. And the main focus of this initiative is to foster the growth and the professional development of the students and explore potential career paths. And we know our college being a government institution, students are coming from various backgrounds. So I hope students will be able to choose their right path in order to achieve their desired goals with the help of mentors. So my request to students is, this is a great opportunity and you utilize this opportunity, and you should take advantage of this. Thank you.
Very well said, ma'am. Thank you so much for your time and your support. I think one of the most important part of any such program in an institution like this is the support from the respective academic fraternity and also the administrative leadership. So I'm very glad that you are at the helm of things and you have always been supporting this initiative. Thank you so much. We will move on. I wanted to invite Shri MC Dattan. Dattan sir is 1971 chemical engineering. He's the former director of VSSC and currently the scientific advisor to the Chief Minister of Kerala. And I have been very privileged to be associated with Dattan sir in the last couple of years on a very interesting initiative. And he has been like a guru, and he explains a lot of things like a true mentor through storytelling. So it is indeed a pleasure and privilege to invite you, sir, and request you to share your thoughts.
Good morning to everybody. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. First of all, let me thank the organizers, the alumni committee members, etc., for giving a chance to participate in this great program. And also, my dear students, the time allotted to me for giving a small briefing is 5 minutes. So I will just touch on the points, some important points, some 10 points I have scribbled and given to Krishna Kumar, what I am going to talk. Actually, each point is a subject for a class. So I cannot go deep into it. But students can note it down. During the discussion period, they can ask more. The first point is the art of learning. Learning is an art. There are many points, but I will highlight one point. There is vertical expertise and horizontal exposure. Vertical expertise means you concentrate on your field of work or branch, what you would like to study as per the syllabus, and be an expert. But at the same time, keep your horizon broad to have more exposure. That is called horizontal exposure. This I am telling because many times when the people go for interview, a mechanical engineer going for an interview, questions on mechanical engineering will be answered very smartly. But the moment they divert from the field and ask a question of general thing, they fumble. It should not happen. So that horizontal exposure is also very important. Second point is people all talk about IQ, but I want to tell more important is I can. In place of even your IQ is a bit small, you tell I can. 10 times you tell I can, I can, I can. That gives you a lot of confidence. Nothing is impossible, Once you have the willpower and the confidence, you will be able to do wonders. And also when a problem comes also, don't use the phrase because of. Because of is for making excuses, for not doing anything. Replace because of by in spite of. In spite of any hurdle, I will be able to do it. Now you people after completion of the graduation, etc., you will be searching for a job and going for a job. In fact, the success in any field, in any profession is a combination of effort and opportunity. It's a marriage. Actually, the success is the marriage between effort and opportunity. Effort, everybody knows, effort should be extreme way, most sincere and passionate way we can have the effort. But opportunity is something we should search and get it. For finding the opportunity, we should be very vigilant. Vigilant in the sense our sensing organ should be very sharp in searching for the opportunities. Not only that, in selecting the opportunity, you should not be too choosy. ഒരു ജോലിക്ക് അപ്ലൈ ചെയ്യുന്ന സമയത്ത് ഞാൻ കേരളത്തിനുള്ളിൽ ജോലി ചെയ്യില്ല, ഷിഫ്റ്റിൽ ജോലി ചെയ്യില്ല, കെമിക്കൽസ് ഹാൻഡിൽ ചെയ്യുന്നിടത്ത് ഞാൻ ജോലി ചെയ്യില്ല, അങ്ങനെയുള്ള റെസ്ട്രിക്ഷൻസ് നമ്മൾ വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നമ്മുടെ ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റി ഒരുപാട് ഷ്രിങ്ക് ചെയ്തു പോകും. ചുരുങ്ങിപ്പോകും. അത് പാടില്ല. നെക്സ്റ്റ് പോയിന്റ് ഈസ്, ഐ ജസ്റ്റ് ടെൽ എ സ്ലോഗൻ, ലെറ്റ് ദ വർക്ക് ബി എനിത്തിങ്. ലെറ്റ് ദ വർക്ക് ബി എനിത്തിങ്. എന്ത് ജോലിയോ ആകട്ടെ, ഐ വിൽ ഡു ഇറ്റ് ബെറ്റർ ദാൻ എനിവൺ എൽസ്. ലെറ്റ് ദ വർക്ക് ബി എനിത്തിങ്, ഐ വിൽ ഡു ഇറ്റ് ബെറ്റർ ദാൻ എനിവൺ എൽസ്. അതായിരിക്കണം നമ്മുടെ സ്ലോഗൻ. ഈ സ്ലോഗൻ വെച്ച് പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ സക്സസ് ഈസ് യുവേഴ്സ്. യു വിൽ ഡു എക്സലൻസ് ഇൻ യുവർ ഫീൽഡ് ഓഫ് വർക്ക്. എനി ഫീൽഡ് ഈസ് ഓക്കെ. ആൻഡ് മെക്കാനിക്കൽ എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് പഠിച്ചിട്ട് പോയിട്ട് മെക്കാനിക്കൽ എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് ആയിട്ട് ഒരു ബന്ധമില്ലാത്ത ജോലി ചെയ്യേണ്ടി വരും. എൻ്റെ സുഹൃത്ത് ഹേമേന്ദ്രൻ ഇവിടെ ഇരിപ്പുണ്ട്. ഹേമേന്ദ്രന് കെമിക്കൽ എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് പഠിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് എന്തെല്ലാം ജോലികളാണ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ഇപ്പൊ സർവീസിൽ IAS IPS ഒക്കെ കിട്ടിപ്പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് ആയിട്ട് ബന്ധമില്ലാത്ത പണി നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യും. ഈവൻ പീപ്പിൾ ആർ ഗോയിങ് ഫോർ MBA എടുത്തു കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് എല്ലാ അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷൻ കാര്യങ്ങൾ ചെയ്യും. അപ്പൊ ആ ഫീൽഡിന് നമുക്കൊരു ബേസിക് ബാക്ക്ഗ്രൗണ്ട്, എ കോൺഫിഡൻസ് ബിൽഡിംഗ് ഫോർ അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡിങ് മോർ തിങ്സ് ആയിട്ട് കണക്കാക്കിയാൽ മതി. സോ എനി ജോബ് ഈസ് ഗുഡ് ആൻഡ് യു സല്യൂട്ട് ദാറ്റ് ജോബ്. കലാം സാറ് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുള്ളതാണ്, once you salute your profession, you need not salute anybody in the world, including God. ദൈവത്തെ പോലും സല്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്യണ്ട, പ്രൊവൈഡഡ് നിങ്ങളുടെ ജോലി, നിങ്ങളുടെ പ്രൊഫഷൻ ആത്മാർത്ഥമായിട്ട് പാഷനേറ്റ് ആയിട്ട് ഒരു വർഷിപ്പ് പോലെ, വർക്ക് ഈസ് വർഷിപ്പ് പോലെ ചെയ്യുകയാണെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ വിജയം സുനിശ്ചിതമാണ്. ആൻഡ് ഡ്യൂറിങ് ദ പ്രൊഫഷൻ അക്സെപ്റ്റ് ഓൾ ചേഞ്ചസ് ആൻഡ് ചലഞ്ചസ്. അതിനൊരിക്കലും ഒരു ചലഞ്ചിങ് ആയിട്ട് വരുന്ന ജോബിനെ ഒരിക്കലും നമ്മൾ പേടിച്ച് പിന്മാറി നിൽക്കാണ്ട് അതൊരു ചാൻസ് ആയിട്ട് കണക്കാക്കി നമ്മൾ ഗ്രാബ് ചെയ്യണം. അങ്ങനെ ഓരോ ചലഞ്ചും നമ്മൾ റിസോൾവ് ചെയ്ത് പരിഹരിക്കുമ്പോഴാണ് നമ്മുടെ വിൽ പവർ അങ്ങ് കൂടും. എന്ത് വന്നാലും എനിക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുമെന്നുള്ള ആ ഒരു ധാരണയിൽ എത്തും. ആൻഡ് ഔട്ട് ഓഫ് ഓൾ ദീസ് തിങ്സ്, ബി എ പ്രൗഡ് ഇന്ത്യൻ. അത് നമ്മൾ എപ്പോഴും മനസ്സിലുണ്ടായിരിക്കണം. ഏത് രാജ്യത്ത് എവിടെ പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞാലും വി ഷുഡ് ബി പ്രൗഡ് ഓഫ് അവർ കൺട്രി. ഈ 70-72 വർഷം ഇൻഡിപെൻഡൻസ് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് നമുക്ക് പുരോഗതി ഇല്ല, ഗ്രോത്ത് ഇല്ല എന്നൊന്നും പറയാൻ പാടില്ല. നമ്മൾ ഈവൻ നൗ വി ആർ എ ഡെവലപ്പിംഗ് നേഷൻ. ഡെവലപ്ഡ് നേഷൻ ആയാണ് കലാം സാർ വിചാരിച്ച കണക്ക് സ്റ്റിൽ വി ആർ സ്ട്രഗ്ലിംഗ്. പക്ഷെ ഒരുപാട് പ്രോഗ്രസ് ഉണ്ടായിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഒരുപാട് പ്രോഗ്രസ് നമുക്ക് ഉണ്ടായിട്ടുണ്ട്. We should be proud of that. And we can go on strive for ഈ മീഡിയയില്, ചാനലിലും മീഡിയയിലും ഒക്കെ പറയുന്ന പോലെ ഒന്നും അല്ല കാര്യങ്ങൾ. ഇൻ ദ കൺട്രിയിൽ lot of progress, economic, agricultural, industrial, lot of growth has happened. Still we are striving hard to grow more and more. So ആ രാജ്യത്തോടുള്ള കൂറും രാജ്യത്തിന്റെ അഭിവൃദ്ധിയിലുള്ളതും എപ്പോഴും നമുക്ക് ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കണം. The last point, ടീം വർക്ക് ഈസ്, I missed it, ടീം വർക്ക്. ഈ സ്കില്ല്, ലൈഫ് സ്കില്ല് എന്ന് നമ്മൾ പറയുമ്പോൾ ഒരുപാട് സ്കില്ലുകളുണ്ട്. കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷൻ സ്കില്ല്, കാര്യങ്ങളെല്ലാം ഉണ്ട്. ആ ലൈഫ് സ്കില്ലിലുള്ള രണ്ട് പ്രധാന കാര്യങ്ങൾ, ഒന്ന്, ട്രൈ ടു ഡു തിങ്സ് വിത്ത് ദ ഹാൻഡ്. നമ്മുടെ കൈ കൊണ്ട് ജോലി ചെയ്ത് കിട്ടുന്ന ആ എക്സ്പെർട്ടൈസ്, ആ ജോലി ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ കിട്ടുന്ന ആ എക്സ്പെർട്ടൈസ് വേറെ ഒന്നുകൊണ്ടും കിട്ടില്ല. അത് ഏത് ഫീൽഡിൽ എവിടെ പോയാലും, when we can do things with our own hand, the talent will automatically will come. അതിന് ഒരു നാണക്കേടും വിചാരിക്കേണ്ട കാര്യമില്ല. അതാ പറഞ്ഞത്, ഏത് ജോലിയും മഹത്വമാണെന്ന് വിചാരിച്ചിട്ട് നമുക്ക് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ഒരു ആറ്റിറ്റ്യൂഡ് വേണം. ആൻഡ് കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷൻ ഈസ് എ ഗ്രേറ്റ് തിങ്. ആൻഡ് ഇഫ് യു ആർ ഈസ് എ സ്കിൽഡ് കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേറ്റർ, 50% ഈസ് സക്സസ് ഈസ് ഗ്യാരണ്ടീഡ്. ഇനിയുള്ള വേറൊന്നുള്ളത് ബിഹേവിയർ ആണ്. നമ്മുടെ ബിഹേവിയർ സ്റ്റൈലിൽ നമുക്ക് എങ്ങനെ, ദാറ്റ് ഇസ് കോൾഡ് എ ട്രാൻസ്ഫർമേഷൻ ടെക്നിക്. ടീം വർക്ക്, അതായത് നമ്മളൊരു ടീമിൽ വർക്ക് ചെയ്യാനായിട്ട് ഒരുപാട് അഡ്ജസ്റ്റ്മെന്റ് ചെയ്യേണ്ടി വരും. ദാറ്റ് ഇസ് കോൾഡ് ട്രാൻസ്ഫർമേഷൻ. അഡ്ജസ്റ്റ്മെന്റ് ചെയ്യാന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ അവർ സ്റ്റൈൽ ഓഫ് ബിഹേവിയർ, നേച്ചർ, ടോക്കിംഗ്, മെത്തേഡ്സ്, എവറിഥിങ് ഷുഡ് ബി മാച്ചിങ് ആൻഡ് കൺഡ്യൂസീവ് ടു ദി ടീം മെമ്പേഴ്സ്. അങ്ങനെ ടീം മെമ്പേഴ്സുമായിട്ട് ചേർന്ന് പോയാലേ നമുക്ക് സക്സസ് ഉണ്ടാകും. ആക്ച്വലി JRD ടാറ്റ പുള്ളിയുടെ ഒരു ബുക്കിൽ വളരെ ക്ലിയർ ആയിട്ട് എഴുതിയിട്ടുണ്ട്, ഐ വുഡ് ലൈക്ക് ടു ഹാവ് സെക്കൻഡ് റേറ്റേഴ്സ്. സെക്കൻഡ് റേറ്റേഴ്സ് എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ഫസ്റ്റ് അല്ല, ഏറ്റവും ടോപ്പ് ആൾക്കാരല്ല, സെക്കൻഡ് റേറ്റേഴ്സ് who mingle with the people smoothly and work in a team than the first raters who always find fault with others. അതൊരു വലിയ കാര്യമാണ്. നമ്മളൊരു ഓർഗനൈസേഷനിൽ പോയി ടീമിൽ വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്ന സമയത്ത് അല്പസ്വല്പം ഡിഫറൻസ് ഓഫ് ഒപ്പീനിയൻ ഒക്കെ നമുക്ക് ഉണ്ടായി കഴിഞ്ഞാലും ആൾക്കാരുടെ നേച്ചർ മനസ്സിലാക്കി അവരുമായിട്ട് വഴക്കിട്ട് കൂടാണ്ട് സ്മൂത്ത് ആയിട്ട് പോകാനായിട്ടുള്ള കഴിവുണ്ടാകുക എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഇറ്റ്സ് എ ഗ്രേറ്റ് ഗിഫ്റ്റ്. And the last point I am going to conclude because my time is going to be over. The last point is learning, earning. One more is there, I will tell. Learning is everybody knows. Learning ഇതെല്ലാം നമ്മൾ ഈ പ്രോഗ്രാം ചെയ്യുന്നത് തന്നെ ഇറ്റ്സ് എ പാർട്ട് ഓഫ് ദ ലേണിംഗ്. But the only thing is what for we learn for earning. സമ്പാദിക്കണം, പൈസ ഉണ്ടാക്കണം, അതിന് തന്നെയാണ് ഈ പഠിക്കുന്നതെല്ലാം. അതിലൊരു പറയുന്നതിന് നാണക്കേടൊന്നുമില്ല. We are learning for earning. We have to get a profession, we should get salary or reward, whatever it is. പക്ഷെ ഏൺ ചെയ്ത് തുടങ്ങുമ്പോൾ പലരും ഈ ലേണിംഗ് അങ്ങ് നിർത്തും. അത് പാടില്ല. Learning is a lifelong process. We should never stop learning, never stop reading and learning. Continue the learning, even if to what level you have attained and എല്ലാം ജീവിതത്തിൽ കിട്ടാവുന്നതെല്ലാം കിട്ടിക്കഴിഞ്ഞാലും ആ ലേണിംഗ് എന്നുള്ള പ്രോസസ്സ് മാത്രം നിർത്തരുത്. യു കണ്ടിന്യൂ ചെയ്യണം. I told learning, earning, and the last one is returning. So the slogan is learning, earning, and returning. What is returning? Returning is to the society. A portion of whatever you earn, make it a habit. Make one of your characteristics to support those who are not privileged like us. There are plenty in the society. So that social commitment നമ്മുടെ മനസ്സിൽ എപ്പോഴും ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കണം. പഠിക്കണം, വായിക്കണം, പഠിക്കണം, ജോലി കിട്ടണം, ശമ്പളം ഉണ്ടാകണം, ധനം ഉണ്ടാകണം. അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു പോർഷൻ നമ്മുടെ അത്ര ഭാഗ്യം കിട്ടിയിട്ടില്ലാത്ത, ഈ ലക്ഷറി ഒന്നും അനുഭവിക്കാൻ പറ്റാത്ത ആൾക്കാരെ എപ്പോഴും ഒരു കൈ താങ്ങ് കൊടുത്ത് സഹായിക്കാനുള്ള സന്മനസ് ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കും. ദാറ്റ്സ് ആൾ. ഓക്കെ.
Thank you so much, sir. ഇത് കേട്ടുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന കുട്ടികള്, just for information for the panelists, around 60 people are also seeing it in the stream. So even though they are not here, so overall around 200 students are seeing it right now. ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ കുട്ടികളോട് പലപ്പോഴും പറയുന്ന ഒരു കാര്യമാണ്, സീനിയേഴ്സ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഒരു സർവകലാശാലയാണ്. So I think you got a micro MBA as you heard Dattan sir speaking about it. So thank you so much, sir, for your time. We will come back to you. Please stay online. I had the privilege to invite another wonderful women leader who is most respected in the era of space technology in particular, but overall. It is also a personal privilege because she comes from my own district and has studied my own branch. Madam, it is my personal privilege to invite you for this wonderful session. Dr. Tessie Thomas, 1985 Electrical Engineering, Distinguished Scientist and Director General Aeronautical Systems, DRDO. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Dear students and all distinguished members present here, a very good morning to all of you. First of all, let me take this opportunity to thank Professor Krishna Kumar and team for making me a participant in C2C program. I have chosen the topic to talk to you on life skills and leadership. Like life skills are defined as abilities for adaptive and a positive behavior that enables individuals to deal efficiently with the demands and challenges of everyday life. In other words, life skills are abilities that facilitate the physical, mental, and emotional well-being of an individual. And life skill we can categorize into three: the social or the interpersonal skills, where the communication skill, assertiveness skill, that is the affirmative or how confident we are to deal with the situation. Then the coordination skills, that is the cooperativeness of ability to be considerate. Then the empathy, that is ability to understand the other's feelings. Then comes the second category, the emotional skills, where we need to manage the stress and managing emotions, one's own and others. That what we call as emotional intelligence. Then managing the pressure, the work pressure, that is both subordinate as well as superiors. Then we have the cognitive thinking skill. This comes out of our basic intelligence or the human brain. Like we have problem solving capability, critical thinking, creative thinking, decision making capability, and self-awareness. So these are the three categories of life skills what we need to have. And when we define leadership and its qualities, it comes to coping with complexity, planning and budgeting, decision making and problem solving capability, nurturing and implementing changes or delivering the change, being a change leader, setting the right direction and giving guidance, developing and sharing vision. We need to be a visionary to be on the leader. Aligning people, that is Dr. Dattan also mentioned about team building or teamwork. Working together is a must. And mentoring, motivating and inspiring. These are the few qualities of leadership. When it comes to a leader of visionary leader, we can take the example of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He has been a pioneer in defense science and visioned to have a strong and developed India. He created a culture of excellence, that is because of his great attitude. He has been a great change leader, and he has inspired many scientists, students, and the whole country, we can say. He used to dream of developing India with such science and technology capability, both in space, defense, and his dream is a reality today. In his words, learning gives creativity, creativity leads to thinking, thinking provides knowledge, and knowledge makes you great. Finally, it is your knowledge, attitude, and the personal life skills what matters, and that leads you to the place or the position you want to be. Thank you. This is what I would like to share on leadership and life skills.
Thank you so much, madam. It was very brief, but very much on to the point. So we really appreciate you coming on board and sharing your thoughts. We wish you could stay back. I know you may be busy, but if you have time, kindly stay back. There may be questions from students. If you could kindly stay back.
I'll stay back.
Okay, great. Thank you. Let me move on to invite our next panel speaker, Mr. Anil Warrior. He is 1988 mechanical engineering. He is the head of India talent acquisition for Amazon Web Services. I know Anil sir for a long time. I call him fondly as Anleton. So he used to be giving us a lot of beautiful advices even in my profession. So it is an honor to invite you for speaking a few words. I think Anil Anleton is going to speak a little on the specifics of mentoring and probably expand on how it could be useful for students. So over to you, Anleton.
Thanks, Santosh, and thank you, Dattan sir, and thank you, Casey madam. It's a privilege, honestly, and I was just thinking when both of you were talking about the kind of people you had around when you were working with ISRO and VSSC. I think a lot of great minds around you, and I think adana ഏറ്റവും വലിയ motivation perform ചെയ്യാനല്ല when you have great people around you. So students, I have 4 minutes and I will try to complete as much as possible. I just wanted to discuss about how you need to structure a mentorship program. അത് ഒരു മാജിക് ഫോർമുല ഒന്നും ഇല്ല അതിന്, ബിക്കോസ് നമ്മൾ ഈ പറയണ പോലെ ഇറ്റ്സ് എ 80-20 റിലേഷൻഷിപ്പ്. ബിക്കോസ് ഒരു മെന്റർഷിപ്പ് പ്രോഗ്രാം സക്സസ്ഫുൾ ആവണമെങ്കിൽ 80% of the contribution has to be from the mentee or the student in this case, and 20% is from the mentor. Adonna, I think that has to be absolutely clear, because കഴിഞ്ഞൊരു 10 വർക്ക് ചെയ്ത് ഞാൻ വർക്ക് ചെയ്ത് തുടങ്ങിയിട്ട് 30 കൊല്ലമായി, പക്ഷെ കഴിഞ്ഞൊരു 15-20 കൊല്ലമായിട്ട് പല രൂപത്തിലുള്ള മെന്റർഷിപ്പും കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ that is very clear. 80% of the contribution has to be from the student to make the mentorship program successful, number one. Number two, I think before you start this program, one of the first things you as a student should do is think about what you would want to do, what is your interest, what are the kind of things where you have a strength. We need to have some thought process before you go and talk to a mentor, even if it is a first conversation. Allanda oru mentorinte mumbil poi irunnu kayinjal, he is not going to deliver things for you. He is a facilitator. He will help you. He will guide you. He is also investing time. He will also think about you, but he is a facilitator. So first conversation, and I will send you a small, I will send Krishnamar sir or Santosh around. I will send you a small note, maybe at the end of the meeting. But first and foremost is identify what are you good at, what is your interest, what is that you want to do. I just have a caution there, because unlike past, today's market and economy and all that is so vibrant. So don't think about 20 years, 25 years, possibly think about for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. You can always tweak your aspirations later, but think about next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, that what is that I want to achieve? What is that I want to accomplish? Have that thought in your mind, and then have the first conversation with your mentor. That's number one. Number two, there has to be some kind of a roadmap. See, let's assume that we are talking of a 2 year. Pass ആവുമ്പോ ഒരു 2022 2021 pass ആവുന്ന സമയം വരെയുള്ള ഒരു കാലഘട്ടത്തിൽ, when you are discussing this with your you need to have a roadmap. What is that I want to achieve? ഈ 2 കൊല്ലം കഴിയുമ്പോൾ what should I have done? ഒരു ചെറിയൊരു journey. And when I'm talking, saying that, okay, by 2022 or 2023, what will be the year, this is what I want to get out of this mentorship program. This is not what I want to be. This is what I want to get out of this mentorship program. Have some kind of a roadmap and try to measure it every, say, 3 months, 4 months. Am I on track? Am I not on track? Am I getting the required help? Am I committed enough? I think you will have to devote either mentorship. I think somebody else is talking about what you should not expect out of a mentorship. I think that is very important. So second is very clear, saying that have a journey, have some kind of a plan. This is what I want to do in the next 2 years, and these are my checkpoints after 3 months or 6 months or whatever be that predetermined. Number three, I think this is a bit of a situation where in the past we had a lot of opportunity to meet our mentors face to face. And that I don't know whether that is going to happen in the next 6 months, 12 months, 1 year or 2 years. So there will be a bit of a disadvantage, because when we used to have face to face, and I believe today morning I was thinking about this mentorship program, many of us who are sort of on the wrong side of age, our mentors were not corporate mentors. ഈ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ വീട്ടിൽ ചില കാരണവന്മാരോ അമ്മാവനോ അച്ഛന്റെ ചേട്ടനോ ഇവരൊക്കെയായിരുന്നു ഒരു എന്താ പറയുക informal mentor for us. When they used to have a crisis, we used to go, and then they used to advise out of their sheer experience. അല്ലാണ്ട് വലിയ പഠിപ്പോ ഡോക്ടറേറ്റ് ഒന്നും ഇല്ലാത്ത ആൾക്കാരാണ്. അവരവരുടെ experience. They were also informal mentors. So I think you will have to look at it from that perspective. So I think the third important thing is to be very clear, what is that I'm expecting out of this? This is the journey. And number 4 is, it is not about, and as Datan sir said, so it is not about, the ultimate thing is we all want to be good human beings. Mechanical anengilum, electrical anengilum, civil anengilum, 90% കിട്ടിയാലും 70% കിട്ടിയാലും at the end of the day, we all want to be good human beings. So I think that is what Datan sir was also referring about returning to the society. And Tessie madam also indicated that in her leadership principles. I think one is, of course, you need to get a job. You need to start earning. That's definitely there. But, if you look at last 15, 20 years, a good job or a high paying salary has never been a parameter for a successful human being. And I think that has to be corrected in your mind. ഇതിപ്പോ നാലാളോട് പറയാൻ വേണ്ടി എനിക്ക് ജോലി കിട്ടി, എവിടെയാണ് ശമ്പളം, എനിക്ക് ഇരിക്കാൻ സ്വന്തമായിട്ട് ക്യാബിൻ ഉണ്ട്, ആ ഒരു കാലഘട്ടം കഴിഞ്ഞു. I think we need to be very clear. Am I happy myself doing this job? Am I happy with the people around me? Am I being challenged? Am I learning every day? I think at least for the first 15, 20 years of your career, അത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഈ life where priorities and down. But at least for the first 10-15 years, I think you need to be very clear, saying that these are the things which I want to focus on. Last couple of things which I want to also ensure that, I don't know whether, first of all, we don't know when is this current ecosystem or the challenging situation outside is going to end. But given that, from whatever I'm hearing from corporate circles, I don't think we will ever get back to the pre-COVID days. Any other sambhavikkan sadhyadilla, it will be tough, at least for the next 4-5 years. Tough in the sense, ഓരോ കമ്പനികളും വന്ന് 1000, 2000, 10,000, 20,000 അങ്ങനെയുള്ള ഒരു റിക്രൂട്ട്മെന്റ് ആവാനുള്ള സാധ്യത വളരെ കുറവാണ്. People will be very selective, companies will be very selective. So it means that you will have to be very good in your academics. അവിടെ ഒരു കോംപ്രമൈസ് ഉണ്ടാവാൻ സാധ്യത ബുദ്ധിമുട്ട്. So, and you look at the selection process, whether it is right or wrong is a different conversation. ഒരു കമ്പനി നമ്മുടെ കോളേജിൽ വരുമ്പോൾ ആദ്യം ഒരു ഓൺലൈൻ ടെസ്റ്റ്, അത് കഴിഞ്ഞ് വേറൊരു ടെസ്റ്റ്, പിന്നെ അത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ 3 round of interviews. In all those processes, academically you have to be good. And I add exactly here about the breadth of your experience. ഈ ലോകത്ത് എന്താ നടക്കണേന്ന് അറിഞ്ഞിരിക്കണം. നമ്മൾ മെക്കാനിക്കൽ എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗും IC മെഷീൻസും മാത്രം പഠിച്ചു പോയാൽ ഇന്നത്തെ കാലത്ത് ഇന്റർവ്യൂ ക്ലിയർ ചെയ്യില്ല. You will also need to know what is happening in our social system. And you might have your own opinions. That is a different conversation. But you need to know what is happening outside the market. So it is not just about the depth; it is the breadth. So, and last but not the least, I think one of the things, and I have been an interviewer myself. I have never done an engineering job. I've realized many cases that in an interview process, always keep 2 things in mind. One, if you don't know the right answer, raise your hand, admit, I don't know. The moment you start beating around the bush, interviewers, within the first 30 seconds, they will gauge you that you don't have an answer. So it's okay. You raise your hand and say that I don't have an answer. And second, I know that there are challenges around communication and we have been trying and all those kind of stuff, but you should be very confident of what you know. Communication is a byproduct. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് അറിയാവുന്ന സാധനങ്ങൾ പുറത്ത് പറയാനുള്ള ഒരു കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷൻ ഉണ്ടായാൽ മതി. I know there are rooms to improve, there are ways to improve. പക്ഷെ നമ്മുടെ തൃശ്ശൂരൊക്കെ നമ്മൾ പഠിക്കുന്ന കാലത്ത് നമ്മുടേതായ പരാധീനതകളും ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടുകളും എല്ലാം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു, ഇല്ലേ? So we would have improved our English after we left the college. So that, don't worry about it. But what you know, you should be able to communicate. So I will send you a narrative maybe later today, and that can be circulated. But structure your mentorship very properly. You are 80% responsible for the success, and it is very important. And you guys are very, very lucky to at least have this kind of a conversation and people who are ready to support you. It's like a buffet, guys. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് വേണമെങ്കിൽ വന്ന് ഈ പാനലിൽ കാണുന്ന ആരായാലും ആരോടും സംസാരിക്കാം. You can get knowledge. അല്ല ഇതൊന്നും വേണ്ട എന്നുള്ള തീരുമാനമാണെങ്കിൽ അങ്ങനെയും ആവാം. So it's a buffet in front of you. You can decide where you want to pick up skills, where you want to pick up knowledge, where you want to pick up your philosophy of life, or how do you want to live. And let's be also clear that this is a generation where you don't necessarily have to pick up a job after your engineering to be successful. You can do something on your own, you can plan something on your own, you can do whatever you want, you can make a living out of it. And I always give 2 examples. Santosh, I just need 30 seconds. Just 2 examples. I know personally, these are the 2 people I know personally. There's a product from IIT Kharagpur, and he went to IIM Calcutta, and he runs a huge music shop in Calcutta. Music shop in the sense music instruments, cassettes, CDs, and it's a very highly automated shop he runs. He actually bought over 3 or 4 outlets from once a very successful company called HMV. I don't know whether you've heard that. His master's voice, HMV, was a very successful company. He bought that, he runs it. It has nothing to do with his engineering, but his management and his passion for that, he's running that. And hey, again, there is a case. He's a Maharashtrian guy from IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad. He runs a huge vegetarian restaurant in Matunga. Very highly automated. He enjoys doing it. He wanted to be in that business. He's showing people how he can run a restaurant business. So it is not about നാലാൾ എന്ത് വിചാരിക്കും ഞാൻ ഇത് ചെയ്താൽ എന്ന് ആലോചിക്കരുത്. Please, Ratan sir പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ എന്ത് ജോലി കിട്ടിയാലും I am the best in doing that എന്നൊരു തോന്നലുണ്ടായാൽ മതി. Because I think these are some of the problems we have, and specifically about Kerala, and I have lived there for enough. ഈ നാലാൾ എന്ത് പറയും എന്നുള്ളൊരു പേടി നമുക്ക് എല്ലാവർക്കും ഉണ്ട്. അത് എടുത്ത് കളയും. Just remove that. You are on your own. Nobody makes your career. There is only one person who is responsible to make your career, and that is you and you only. Thanks, Santosh. Thanks, students, for giving me this name.
Great. Thank you, Anleta. It was wonderful. And I'm sure your participation in the ongoing mentoring program will help a lot of students in their career aspirations, etc. I just move on to Mr. Arjun Jairam, 1993 computer science engineering, founder and CEO of Baton Systems USA. I think he's joining in from there. So thank you, Arjun. We saw your brief in the promo about talking about the difference between mentoring, counseling, coaching, etc. I believe you're going to expand a little bit more on that. So welcome on board, and it's an honor to welcoming you here.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor to be part of this group. It's great to see you all. Thank you for this opportunity. I'll talk a little bit about, we are addressing the students, so the majority of the audience here is the students, and then I'll talk a little bit about the program itself. Look, for the students, I want to say that this is an amazing time. This is a very interesting time. It's a little challenging time, but it's also an amazing time to get out of college. You're actually entering into, when I spoke about a month back, you are entering into what I call a knowledge economy. So, it's a new world out there. It's the person who has the most knowledge is going to win. And the day you stop learning, you're outdated. So it's a new world that you're going to be coming out into. So be ready for that particular world. You're also entering into a space, into a time when machine learning and artificial intelligence is starting to come on, which means that very soon machines are going to be able to gather and process information and even work on knowledge. So the only thing that's going to separate machines from human beings is going to be the personal interaction. So don't forget that piece. Have the personal interactions. The things that actually our students are really good at is personal interactions. That is something that we learned from our college. Work on that and continue to improve on that. This is the third year that I've been recruiting from our college. I'm very happy with the quality of the students that we've been recruiting, because we go globally and recruit. But the thing about our college is that we found that if you have to invest a little more in our college students. The first 6 months, if we invest in the students, they actually, in the longer term, they're turning out to be ahead. In a course of 18 to 24 months, they're actually turning out ahead of quote unquote supposedly higher colleges. I mean, higher rated colleges. So the first 3 to 6 months, we have to invest a little more in our students, but that's okay. But that's all. Those are all very interesting things that we are seeing. So I'll continue to come back and hire more students. Even this year, we'll be coming back and hiring more students. So now I'll shift on to the mentorship program itself. So one of the things that we did talk about is, Anil, you just talked about how students should have an idea about what they want. The way I looked at that is, and this is my request, my humble request to the college, happy to help in this one. So I looked at it as 3 separate areas. The first one is what I called a counselor, the job of a counselor. And the second one is what I call the job of a coach or a trainer. And the third one is that of a mentor. And I want to make sure that you consider these as distinct roles. The role of a counselor is to identify the skills and the interests of the student. It is too easy to say that the students should know what they're interested in. It is actually quite hard, because there are so many opportunities out there. There's so much information out there. And so it is very hard for a student who's out of college to know what he's really interested in, or what he's really passionate about, or what his expertise lies in. So it actually may require a formal counseling sessions, or a job of a counselor that also acts as a conduit. They are the interfaces with the outside world. They understand what a TCS is hiring or an Amazon is hiring. So they will be the conduits and help you navigate those things very quickly. The second one is what I call that of a coach. The coach is basically saying that, look, you are here. This is what the industry needs. There are things that you need to build in the next 12 months to 18 months or maybe 2 years in order to get to that level. And that coaching, don't restrict it to just our college. And this is another thing that I want to tell the college. It's not just our final year students or the third year students that you should be thinking about. Think of even students who have just got out of college, because the more you mentor our ecosystem, the more enriched that ecosystem is. And we just talked about how the community should give back. And so the richer the community, the more it gives back. And therefore, you get a more vibrant ecosystem. This is how the Ivy Leagues of America does this thing. The best schools here, they always engage with students. So that's the other thing. So have a concept of a coach and make sure that the coach is able to take the students, a series of students, through that journey. And the last one is mentorship. Mentorship is going to be, like I said, it's a process. You have to work hard. The mentor has to work hard. The mentee has to work hard. It's something that you have to continue to work on that. I currently have 2 mentors. Even at this point in time, I have 2 mentors. One of them is a ex-vice chairman of Citibank. I mean, I learn so much each time I speak to them. But before I go into that meeting, I have to prepare 2 days in advance. And the other one is actually a very senior partner at McKinsey. So they never stop learning. This is a knowledge economy, never stop learning. So with that, I will conclude, and I'm always available. And thank you again for the opportunity. Wish the college the very best, and look forward to this program.
Thank you, Arjun. It was great. I also I'm very glad that you are continuing to look back to the alma mater for your own resource requirements and people requirements. So really appreciate that. And I'm sure, as you rightly said, I think it is. If you look at our college, I've also been going back to the college. I think the raw talent is very, very high in our college, and it is just a matter of chiseling it to the needs of the environment. So thanks once again. Just moving on to Mr. Sajeesh K. He is 2008 mechanical engineer. Now we are getting some very reasonably new generations alumni also on board. He is the ops coordinator for Caltex and director of operation for NJC Labs. So Sajeesh is going to talk a little bit on the process that we are going. Sajeesh is a very active coordinator for the mentor program, and so he's going to talk about the process of how we are going to get students on board and things like that. So over to you, Sajeesh. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you, sir. First of all, dear friends and respected dignitaries, after listening to almost half an hour, I'm feeling so honored and privileged to have at least 5-minute session where I can express my thought process of what I was looking to share with students. Being one of the youngest alumni member on this panel, I personally consider myself as a representative of the majority of the students who are actually listening to us. So I would love to tell them what this is all about. So though we are all engineers, I would like to put it in a common layman's language so that it makes it easy for you to understand what it is all about. It is as simple as shopping from a hypermarket, just to make it easy. Okay. So the hypermarket is the complex world where you will be stepping into once you finish your engineering. And that hypermarket has got such complexity and such great opportunities awaiting you. The only problem is you should know what to pick, what to choose, how to use, and how to lead that to your success. So before any shopping, to make it very effective, very cost effective, maybe successful, you need to know what to buy and how to buy. So this basic mentoring program, I can compare it with that preparatory stuff, wherein which will tell you what you are actually having within you. Like many earlier speakers have already mentioned those things. I personally feel that when I was out of college, എനിക്കും പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് ഒരു ഐഡിയ ഒന്നും ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല എന്ത് ചെയ്യണം എന്നുള്ളത്. അപ്പോൾ if I had someone who could have told me that these are the options available for you when you step out, look at those things, get yourself prepared, I would have been done in much better and faster way than what I have done today. അപ്പോൾ അതിനുള്ള preparatory ഭാഗമായിട്ട് just say if you're getting an opportunity to interact with these eminent personalities who have already gone through their life cycle, who had already done the hard stuff, what you guys would be probably doing to achieve your goal, if you get a heads up, I'm pretty sure that your life cycle, your success rate, everything will improve. അതിന് ചെയ്യേണ്ട കാര്യം എന്താ വെച്ചാൽ കോളേജിൽ പഠിക്കുന്ന from now, as Anil sir was mentioning, from now till the time you pass out of your college, you should be knowing what is available in the market, and what to choose and how to choose and how do you utilize that. So those things are something what we are trying to share with you. When I say we are going to share, it is never going to be a spoon feeding. Please make a note of that. The reason being, as rightly mentioned earlier by your speaker, that it is a 80-20 portion where the more the student gets involved, the better you get out of this mentoring program. So we would love to see more of you getting involved to the fullest possible extent. Take maximum out of these mentors who are available on the platform, because I feel so privileged that like Santosh sir, he's a CEO of a company, ICT, and if I can go and call him Santosh Atta and I can ask a question, that gives a certain bonding and certain uplift to yourself. When you want to have a question, when you want to answer your queries, something of that sort of relationship we are trying to develop. How do we develop? We want a platform wherein we can do that. We are developing a social networking platform which is purely for the GECNs, the students and the alumni, wherein we will be interacting with each other, we will be conducting sessions, we will be interacting with you on a personal note, as Arjun was mentioning, that we need coaching, we need mentoring, we need guidance. We have to iterate and find out what are your interests, what are things that you're looking for, what are you are trying to achieve. And we will be helping you to nurture you, empower you, and make you self-sufficient to take a judicial and at the same time ethical decision to choose what is best for you to make your life, when I say life, the personal and professional life, a great success. So we are going to just nurture you. We are going to tell you what we know, what the senior people know, and you are the final person who is going to take a decision what is best for you. So it is never going to be a situation where mentor comes and tells you that this is what you have to do. No, we are not looking at that. We are looking at telling you the multiple options, and we will empower you so that you can choose from that. I think this is what we are doing, and for doing this we are developing an in-house platform wherein a couple of students have expressed their interest to work with us, and we look forward to have more and more people to come and join with us to develop that platform, make it much robust and spontaneous so that we can get the maximum out of it. I was looking forward to each and everyone to take maximum benefit, come and ask questions. I can see that there is a chat section wherein you have been requested to post as many questions as you want, because you can't find a platform where you get such great eminent personalities waiting for your questions. So please utilize this opportunity, bombard them with questions, take their expertise, take their advices, and take the best out of the session. And we will still continue doing this down the line through our program. So wishing you all good luck, looking forward to talk to you, looking forward to work with you. At the same time, learn great things from you, because as we had a previous session in which it was very prominently mentioned, like 19th century mentors trying to mentor 20th century students for preparing them for the 21st century. So these 3 centuries have to come together to make sure that we all are on the same platform. And we would love to learn a lot from you. At the same time, you will also get heaps of knowledge, because this is a Pandora box which is yet to be opened. And please come and unlock with the key what we are offering you. Please don't miss the chance. Once you miss the boat, that you may not be getting it soon later once you get out of the college. So wishing you all good luck and looking forward to talk to you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Sajesh. It was wonderful. And I also wanted to appreciate the hard technical work that you do along with Kushuma sir and others in the background. So hopefully we will see a good platform which will be more effective in taking the mentorship program forward. എനിക്ക് ഒരു കാര്യം വളരെ specific before I go to the next esteemed panelist. As part of the process, I decided that panel members, colleagues എല്ലാം join ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ കുട്ടികളും join ചെയ്ത് കഴിയുമ്പോൾ I will mute all others except the panel members, so that there will not be disturbances. And I was also expecting that, knowing GECT അല്ലേ, ഞങ്ങളൊക്കെ ഒത്തിരി കുറച്ച് വാലത്തരമൊക്കെ കാണിച്ചിട്ടുള്ളതാണ്. അപ്പൊ ആരെങ്കിലും ക്യൂരിയസ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ആരെങ്കിലും എന്തെങ്കിലുമൊക്കെ പറയുമെന്നൊക്കെ വിചാരിച്ചു. To be fair, I don't know whether it is a great thing or not. I will tell my personal opinion later. But ഞാൻ ആരാ മ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്തിട്ടില്ല. But there is a pin drop silence in this meeting, and which is, I mean, to me, it is unlikely of a GECT. I expected somebody curiously switching on the mic and saying hello. അങ്ങനെ എന്തെങ്കിലും ചെയ്യുമെന്ന് വിചാരിച്ചു. അതൊന്നും ഉണ്ടായില്ല. But that is fine. I think it is a very decent crowd. I appreciate that. But please go ahead and ask your questions. I do have a set of 25 odd questions. Because there were a lot of people who asked those questions. But in the meantime, where questions നിങ്ങൾ കേൾക്കുന്നതിൽ questions ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ദയവായിട്ട് ചോദിക്കാൻ മറക്കരുത്. Even if we are not able to answer it now, we are going to share it with the panelists and then get their questions answered and giving it back to you. So അതുകൊണ്ട് നിങ്ങളുടെ questions ഒന്നും പോവില്ല. It will remain as it is. And for the esteemed panelists, like the backbenchers, ഈ സൂമിന്റെ അകത്ത് 500 വേക്കൻസി ഉണ്ടെങ്കിലും ഒരു 100ഓളം കുട്ടികൾ സൂമിൽ കയറാതെ അവര് മറ്റേ യൂട്യൂബിലാണ് കയറിയിരിക്കുന്നത്. അവിടെ ആകുമ്പോൾ ക്വസ്റ്റൻ ഒന്നും ചോദിക്കത്തില്ല, വിടാണ്ട് ബാക്കിൽ ഇരുന്ന് കാണാന്നുള്ള രീതിയിലാണ് തോന്നുന്നത്. ദാറ്റ് വാസ് എ ടിപ്പിക്കൽ GECT. I really love that. So with that, I do have Dr. Paul Mario Kula. അദ്ദേഹം US-ലാണ്. അദ്ദേഹം unfortunately is in a completely different time zone. It is middle of the night, so he couldn't come on board live. But he has sent a video message on the process of what is to be expected out of mentoring. But what I will do is I will cut a little bit out of the agenda that Krishnamurthy sir said. With your permission, sir, I just wanted to move on to Dr. Satish Vasu and ask him a couple of questions. I think he has been already given a question from the student community about the importance of time management and the knowledge of fundamentals. But അതോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ Dr. Satish, if you may also answer one couple of common questions that have come in, is the importance of minor as well as honors that the new university has introduced here. What is the importance of it in the future prospect is one other question that they have. So over to you, Dr. Satish. Dr. Satish is 1986 mechanical engineering, professor of mechanical engineering, IISc.
Thank you very much.
1 minute, Santosh. ഒരു കാര്യം കൂടി പറയാനുണ്ട്. സതീഷ് നമ്മുടെ കോളേജിന്റെ ഗവേണിംഗ് ബോഡി മെമ്പർ ആണ്. സതീഷും അനിൽ വാര്യർ.
Oh, very good. Okay.
Both of us, I mean, I've been there for many years now.
Sure.
Yeah, I thank the organizers for inviting me here. I think the first speaker itself, Datan sir, has clearly told in a different way that you need to learn to, in different words, if I put it, it means to learn to love what you're doing, rather than, you must be ready for any situation in life. So the question that, this subject is better, that subject is better, or other things is something that you must first banish from your mind. If you are sitting in a class, the first and foremost thing for you is to be personally present in the class and mentally present in the class. Physically, just being present is no use, just like our online meetings. Many times you just mute the mic and mute the video and continue doing what you're doing. And of course, today you can do it physical things also, you can do different. But in class, I know, for example, that many students come and sit there mentally somewhere else. Of course, I have a solution for that. What I do in my classes is I give them an empty sheet of paper in the last 5-10 minutes of the class and ask them to write down what they learned in that class in their own words. So this ensures a certain much higher level of concentration. All the students have agreed that this is important. So the question that this is a better subject, that is a better subject, all that doesn't matter. The important thing is you need to know that subject. And the process of learning a subject becomes far more important. Okay, so that is something that is critical. And one of the things that we don't learn much in life, or we don't even pay much attention to, is time management. Now, if you look at time management, and if you look, you can just take a table where you write down various activities that you have. And if you write down those various activities that you have and the amount of time you have spent every day or every week on that, you will be surprised that many students, apart from their class hours, do not spend more than 4 or 5 hours studying. And it's not true of government college alone, it is also true of IISc, where after I started this activity in my lab, I find that many of them, I told them, just be honest about it. And when they're honest, everyone is honest about it, I hope so. And when it comes to that, they work about 30 to 35 hours a week. Remember, they have no classes, which is unacceptable. Okay, and now if you make a calculation, you'll be surprised to note that if you have a 5-day week and a 45-week year, you'll be surprised to note that even if you spend 25% of your time working, including the classes, it is about 12 hours of work every working day. And that's the kind of thing you're talking. And remember, 25% is not the ideal. Ideal is supposed to be 33%. 33% work, 33% relaxation, and 33% sleep. And with relaxation, I mean hobbies and other things. So time management becomes very critical, and you need to keep a table where you measure the amount of time you spend on various activities. The other thing is time sharing and multitasking. And this becomes critical, especially when the previous speakers told the amount of skills that you have to pick up over the years. You have to have knowledge in fundamentals. You should have systematic problem-solving ability. You should be able to make a good presentation. You should be able to write a report. You should be able to lead a team or be a part of a team. All this needs consistent and continuous work. And Datan sir himself told us that you have to keep on reading, keep on educating yourself throughout your life. If that doesn't happen, then this is not going to, what you call, take you anywhere in the long run. And so that is the thing. And remember a few important things I do believe in life is that you should separate your personal and professional life. They are two different things. And your treatment to a person should not depend on their personal life, or your professional, personal treatment of them should not depend on their professional life. And that becomes important. Many other points are there to tell. I think we can carry on with the discussions, but remember that what you do when no one is looking is what you are. So don't try to project a different image of yourself. You should realize, just keep a track of what you do when nobody is looking. And that is what you are. Don't forget that, okay? So I will stop here and I will continue with allow the panelists to take, and we will take forward any other discussion that is there.
Dr. Satish, there was one specific question to you, if you can spare 1 minute on that. There was a question about KTU, the university here is introducing something called minor and honors. So
Yes.
the question from a set of students is that worth pursuing it? Will that help?
Yes, of course, doing anything which is tougher and harder is better.
Okay.
Remember, if something is, this is another thing that I would like to told in this thing is, you feel that life is stressful, and many of students have come and told me life is stressful. I think there is the most stupid word that is being used in the market is stress. Banish the concept of stress. Okay, if KTU has put this thing and is going to impose more stress on it, you must be confident enough and take the challenge of taking up this extra stress. So it is not stress actually. You remove the word stress. It is basically moving out of your comfort zone. Okay, and unless and until you are happy moving out of your comfort zone, because every time you move out of your comfort zone, you grow. And if you are asked to move out of your comfort zone, if you feel a little stressed, be happy about it. It means you are in a situation where you can grow both in whatever direction you're taking. So you ask us a simple question whether honors is more difficult or easy, or is it more important on that. You simply ask a simple question: is it more difficult to do honors? If the answer is yes, take it up as a challenge. Do it.
Fantastic. All right, got the point. Okay, thanks, Dr. Satish. Kindly stay on. Hopefully, I will be able to come back. I know time is also a little late on our side. So let me quickly move on to Mr. Santosh Kumar, 1990 ECE. Mr. Santosh is the Managing Director for Texas Instruments India. So, Mr. Santosh, I think there is a question already posed to you by the student community, which I hope you are aware of it. The question is, what do companies expect from us after we are hired, and how do we prepare for a corporate world? It's a very loaded question, but I'm sure you'll be able to answer that very easily. Over to you.
Yeah. Good morning, respected panelists, teachers, and dear friends. I will actually say there are three things I will consider for companies that are actually recruiting today, what we need to be aware of while you're actually joining, right? Number one, I would call out is that please understand the purpose of the company. What are they really trying to do? Don't just look at what is your role, but understand the overall purpose of the company so that you will have a much better understanding of what you can actually try to do over time. That's very, very important. When you understand the purpose of your role, etc., ask these questions. What are you expected to do? Why are you expected to do? How are you expected? When all those adjectives, go put it around it and make sure that you get a holistic answer for this, right? Second thing, Dr. Datan sir explained and several people explained, be a lifelong learner, right? I mean, learn about it. I mean, you might actually say that, hey, I have a lot of knowledge. I'm completing my college. The truth is that the learning continues through the life at every stage, whether you work or you don't really work, you are continuously learning. Please continue the learning. That's extremely important. I would actually stress a lot of that. That is truly the investment on yourselves, right? The biggest asset that we all carry with ourselves is just us, right? Continue to invest on it. That's very, very important. Corporates or small companies, startups, whatever, right? Expect each of us to be better than who we were at the end of the year than the beginning of the year that we really started, right? Assess yourselves. Continue to invest in yourselves. Third point, I'll say is that take accountability for the results. Whether you got the results, you didn't really get the results, right? Stand up and say that I'm answerable for it. I'm responsible for it. I'm accountable for it. In your mind, you may think that you are, or you may not, or somebody else is, but more and more you start owning up things that for the results or lack of results for it, right? More and more, you are actually going to be more respected, more valuable to the organization, because people are looking for people who are accountable for what is really happening, right? I told you, I'll tell you 3 things. I said 3 things, right? Now I'll tell you the 4th one, which is equally important, right? The 4th one is exactly this, right? Do make sure that you are able to add a little bit more than what you're actually committing. I said 3, I added the 4th point. Similarly, always look for opportunities. You can actually impress a little bit more than what is expected out of you, right? I know we're short of time. I'll be brief. I'm available for quite a lot of other mentoring opportunities when it comes. Thanks for your time.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Santosh. I am sure the students are listening to it. These are offerings like you need to treat it like gold, because some of these experienced and experts professionals saying that, okay, I'm available for you guys. I think you just need to grab it up. So moving on, I hope Mr. Santosh will stay on, and hopefully we will come back. Moving on, I wanted to introduce another young alumnus of GECT, Miss Dini Satishan. She is 2010 architecture and practicing architect at Bangalore. Dini, hi, welcome on board. I believe you are given the questions. One is on specific to architecture. What kind of projects you were doing when you first started as an architect? Second one, though it came from an architecture student per se, but I think I would like to put it in general, saying that what is so different about the environment that you had in the college versus what you see in the world? These are the 2 questions we request you to answer. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Santosh sir. First of all, I would like to thank Krishna Kumar sir for making me a part of this C2C program. So just adding a few more information about me. So I'm basically an architect, but I have worked as an urban planner, architectural planner. Now I'm into real estate. So I work with a company called JLL. So we provide real estate advisory services to government departments and developers. So coming to the first question of, my initial year of architecture as a practicing architect. So right after my graduation, I joined as a junior architect under Mr. Pramod Kumar. So I worked in Thrissur itself. So that time I used to handle residential independent house design projects and apartment designs. And also I was, hello? Yeah. So, and I've done a couple of commercial projects as well. So I don't know if you are aware of this new Ragam theater that is there in Thrissur. So
yes,
I have, yeah. So I had done the conceptual design. This was back in 2010 with the design has a reel on top of it. So that is that's a close to heart project. So yeah, that was my initial year of architecture. Later, I did my post-graduation in city planning, and then, I got into city planning, the statutory planning and stuff like that. Now I'm into real estate. So can I go to the second question? Hello? Yeah, I think I'll just move to the next question. So what is the difference between a student life and practicing architect life? This is actually applicable for civil engineering students as well. So when you are a student, you have a design problem, you have a site, you have a design brief, you have an area program, everything is there in place. You just have to sit at your desk and you just have to design, and then you have to fine tune the designs based on your faculty's suggestions. But when it comes to practice, so you have a client and you have a site, and the client will have his own ideas about his project. He will have his own requirements. So we tend to align to his own perspective about the project, especially when it comes to residential design. They will have an idea how it has to be, because it's a very personalized space, right? So it's challenging, and at the same time it's very interesting. So you have to it's a consultative process. You have to talk to you have to have a lot of consultations with the client himself, and sometimes you have to do 8 to 10 iterations for your design. So it's interesting. Second part is so in your team, so you will not be working alone, right? So in your team you will have a design person, you will have a draftsman, you will have HVAC consultant, you will have plumbing consultant, you will have structural consultant, etc., electrical consultant. So you have to interact with all these consultants, and for that you have to be a good team player. So that's another thing which I observed. Yeah, that's all from my side, Santosh sir.
Okay, great. Thank you, Dini. And I have to appreciate, I wish such beautiful architecture was there during our time. We would have had a better experience at Ragam Theatre. But I do certainly understand that this is going to be great. So next time we are going to go there. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Moving on, we also have a few questions out there in the chat box. It was written personally to me, but I think I will pick up some things from the set that is also available with me. It is an honor and privilege to have Sri A. Hemachandran, 1982 Chemical Engineering. He is a retired IPS officer and the former DGP for Government of Kerala. Sir, I hope we couldn't see your mic, but I hope you are okay to pick up the mic and you'll be able to hear us and speak to us. We have a couple of questions for you, sir. If you can kindly speak on these questions. One is, what are the opportunities that we have in the government sector? Is one question. I think it is a very, very important question. A lot of students have in our college. And the sub question around that is, would you have any advice to us on very, very, very quickly on the cracking of UPSC exams? So over to you, sir. Hemendra, sir.
Thank you, Santosh. I hope I am audible.
Yes, you are. Thank you.
Santosh, civil service in India, in my opinion, having just completed my tenure in the civil services, in my opinion, it is one of the finest service sectors for an young, educated and competent person. In my opinion, the opportunity that it provides, particularly for a person, even for a new entrant at the early stages of his career and then throughout, it is something without a parallel. A person who enters the service at the age of 25 or 24 or whatever it is, even at the early stages, the kind of opportunities to which one is exposed, the kind of challenges to which one is called upon to perform, I think it is remarkable. It is something without parallel, in my opinion. Of course, the persons with the right aptitude for different areas, like someone who should become a great scientist, he should pursue that. Someone who should become a great teacher should pursue that. But civil service, in my point of view, it's an unparalleled kind of area of activity for a young, educated and competent person. Now, coming to the second part of it, the question where you mentioned about passing the civil services exam. See, the real problem is this year, if you go by the statistics, in Kerala alone, 25,000 students took the exam. The All India vacancies come to only 1,000. So out of this 25,000, even if the entire posts are filled up from Kerala, 24,000 will be left out. So any person who opts for civil service, the first thing he should keep in mind is he or she is taking up an exam where the chance of failure is very, very, very high. And that failure should not make a person feel that he or she is lacking in some respect. It is the system is such that the probability of failure is very, very high. Having said that, one should not get bogged down by the numbers. All these candidates are not very serious candidates. Out of this 25,000, the number of serious candidates may be 25% or a little more like that. But coming to preparation part, see, you should see the changing pattern of the exam. Compared to the times when I took the exam or till 10 years back, it has changed a lot. During our time, there were 2 optionals required, and then there was general studies. But over a period of time, and now the emphasis is on general studies. The optional subject, its importance has come down considerably. Now there is only one optional, and for the preliminary exam, which is the objective, there is no optional at all. So having such large chunk of the exam, the marks going to general studies, this is something which provides an opportunity in the sense even students, engineering students or other students in the course of their studies itself, regular studies itself, you keep some interest in matters connected with the civil services. You do some, when you read, like I had the habit of reading while in college, reading in general, which is there part of my regular work. But then if you know about what counts, how things appear in the civil services exam, you can be much more focused. You can be guided in that respect. So that kind of studies and all will be of great help. I think this being a platform where there are too many issues, too many people with a divergent interests coming up, I won't go into details of that. I would only impress upon 2 points. One, undoubtedly, it's an area where it's a highly desirable as a service opportunity. It is something remarkable, which one should aspire. Then second, it's a difficult exam, but those who prepare in a determined manner over a period of time in the right manner, then you can be successful. This is all I would say in this platform at this point of time. If any specific question and if there is time permitting, I'll be free to answer. Otherwise, those interested, if I am of some use, anyone can get in touch. I'll be happy to provide whatever little I can. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I think it just appears that civil service looks so easy when you say, I just wish I had somebody like you to tell me during that time. I just was so scared that I didn't even attempt. Okay, so it is very nice of you. And student friends, I am sure you are hearing this. This is one of the most privileged, one of the privileged professions in the country, and I'm sure having Hemendra sir kind of a mentor in our group is something which is phenomenal for you. So kindly take advantage of it. Thank you. Moving on, I think I couldn't see Meera Rajivan here. I will come back. Hopefully Meera will join soon. But otherwise, I wanted to go across to another very, very interesting women leader. She just won an award also, which is Vinitha Hariharan, 1995 civil engineering graduate. She works in the global public policy area, and she's a policy expert. She's also an author and a public speaker. So it is definitely an honor to have you here, Vinitha. And you have also been very, very strongly supporting this initiative in the background. So appreciate your time. I know you are struggling between 2 meetings, and hopefully you will be able to give us some advice on the questions that we have. So the question I just wanted to, I know you may have something in general, but I also have a couple of questions coming in. One is, what are the opportunities for students in the area that you are working? They do not know much about the public policy side, so you may want to talk a little about that public policy related area. What are the opportunities that students have in there? And secondly, as a women leader, how has it been for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, everybody, for having me here. And it's a great privilege to get an opportunity to mentor students from my own very own GEC. So a soil that I owe much to. All my success, and I mean, whatever so-called success is, all I owe it to the campus there. Public policy as a career, it was not a very conscious career that I chose right from the beginning of the college, from the college days. But there was always a goading spirit within me to go beyond my immediate context. And so I knew I didn't want to design buildings all my life. And so I wanted to go, with all due respect to all the engineers and architects. It's a highly skilled and very, very creative job. But those of you who want to go and explore beyond your technical side, and if you feel that you have a public persona or a strong sense of connect with your community, I think this is a field that you can explore without getting into the very structured bureaucratic route. And if you have a combination of creativity and a sense of connect with the community, then I think this is a space which is very, very creative, and you can have a blend of bureaucracy as well as a creative side to actually framing strategies for your country. So that's a huge impact that you make. So in terms of career, or in terms of the kind of the course that you need to chart out is means once you finish your engineering, then you, instead of doing an MBA, you could explore doing a master's in public policy or public administration, which most of the top B schools are also offering today, like the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, offers a very good course in public policy. Indian Institute of, I think IIM Bangalore also has a very good course in public policy. And it opens up a lot of avenues actually for you. So in be it the consulting, the big four consultancies, the government, the various state governments, the government of India, and then there are a lot of think tanks which also take in public policy graduates, like the Boston Consulting Group is another consulting group, then the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. These are some of the places where you can apply to once you finish your public policy course. And the second question about being a woman leader, so it's not been again a conscious journey to become a woman leader or anything per se, and I don't know really if I'm a leader, but yes, for a woman to succeed, like Dr. Tessie also would agree, it's extremely challenging in our country, no doubt about it. We have to be very realistic about it, especially in a space like public policy, or when you're dealing with the public in general, or when you're dealing with large scale public projects, which is so hugely male dominated. It's a difficult climb, no doubt. But then I think the important thing to be aware of, or to be mindful of, is that not to really consider yourself different from anybody else, so why different? You can also consider yourself superior. Like I've just said in one of my interviews recently, that the world was born out of us, so why not we create its destiny too? So that's the message that I would like to give all the young ladies out there who are graduating from engineering. And please, please, please don't give up your career once you get married, and please pursue your career, because that's what, or your profession, or what you or your passion, because that's what will take you through your life, while also giving your whole life a good work-life balance. Yeah. Thank you so much, Santosh, and thank you, Krishna Kumar sir, and all the very best to our college. And I would urge the students to make best use of this mentoring program. We all didn't have it. We followed our hearts and spirits, but you're really lucky to have this guided mentoring. Very important in these times of pandemics and stressed out era that we all are going through. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Vinita. Very kind of you, and I'm sure you will stay back. And I'm glad that you are going to be available in the mentoring program as a mentor. So, guys who are watching, please note this. It is a very, very interesting career opportunity to shape the nation's future, like many other career opportunities that many of our alumni have pursued. I wanted to move on to the next panelist, which is Leon Jose, who is a 2001 MCA and currently the assistant director at ENY Kochi. Leon, you are there?
Hello. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, Leon. Yeah, all right. So the question for you, and again, Leon, you are one of the other champions of the C2C program at GECT. You have been working in the background with Krishnamurthy sir and others in putting together this whole thing. So appreciate that effort. I know it is to balance it out is not always easy, but really appreciate that. There is a huge number of questions. I don't know, EY being a consulting organization and who recruits a lot of management professionals, I thought you may be the person to answer that. What are the prospects of students taking MBA after graduation? Is it good to have it immediately after that, or would it be good to have it after some time, or is it necessary at all? That's a set of questions. I just combined it and put it across to you. So over to you again.
Yeah, I mean, so thanks for inviting me again. It's all our program, it's our family. Yeah, so there are different options, and from experience, certain people, I won't give it as an advice, because advice is more like do it, saying that do it this way. But I would say I've seen 3 different categories where people complete MBA and joining the corporate companies as management consultant directly. And that is one option. Again, second option is having some experience in certain field and you figure it out. Okay, this is a certain interesting area for you. I think most of the panelists discussed about finding out the passion, interesting area, give back and all that. So it all covered. So sometimes it's that, okay, you are a mechanical engineer or a civil engineer, you're really good at that. You get into that field. And once you get into that field, and then you realize there are more things you can do at management level. And then maybe after 4 years or 5 years, I don't know, initially maybe 3 years, maybe you will try for an MBA, which will help you to get into a very good direction. That is one of my thought process when you try to get in doing MBA after getting into a profession. Even if it is the choice that you are taking MBA and then getting into a field, I mean, maybe that you already got certain idea. That could be one reason. Second reason could be that it just came to you. So I don't know what would be that reason, right? But people are of different types, so we can't say this is better than that. Personally, I would prefer maybe a couple of years of experience. That is from my angle. My angle is like maybe a couple of years of experience in certain field and realize it. Okay, yeah, this would be interesting area for me. So let me pursue in that way. So it will have its own advantages and disadvantages. Maybe every 2-3 years. I don't think you need to think about disadvantage. I mean, because every learning is a learning, as Datan sir said. So I don't even want to use that word. But it's your choice. It's in a kind of open world in this, kind of when we think about education. Sometimes people forget about management MBA degree itself. Let's start about this mentoring right from the family, as many of you already quoted. Every person coming in front of you may be feeding something, either to take it up or not to go that way or this way. So in a way, every transaction or every dialogue you make with the other person is there is certain element of mentoring. So choosing MBA after having couple of years in industry, it will help you in a way that, okay, you have figured it out certain things. So that is one option. Second option, you are not immediately, but this is where I think mentoring helps. If you at the exactly same point what we are talking about, maybe you're in the second year of engineering, and then we have all these mentors, and then you can probably figure out in advance, and can decide, okay, I can go for this MBA. So there is nothing wrong about it, and I won't say this particular path is right and the other path is exactly right. So that's how I would conclude that. And as for my organization, EY Consulting Organization, and for any top 4 or top 10 or corporates, always there are a lot of opportunities, IT enabled opportunities, especially in a country like India, where we still have to go a long way, and every field is getting a kind of IT enablement combined with this management degrees, all will help you. So we talked about having multiple disciplines, interest in multiple disciplines. So open your eyes and go forward with your instinct of selecting. With the help or the pointers from the mentors you can get from our alumni or even from outside world. Thanks, Santosh. That's all I would like to say, talk about this particular point.
Okay, great. Thank you, Leon. And moving on, we have another interesting alumni from GECT. His name is Vikas Plakot. He is a 2011 mechanical engineer. He is the co-founder and CEO for Just for Kicks. It's a very interesting startup. And he's also an ambassador for the United Nations. So it is indeed, I mean, to be fair, I have never met with you because it is a great opportunity to meet with you. So 2 questions for you, maybe 1 minute on what is Just for Kicks. It's a very interesting name, so would be interested to know what it is. Secondly, the students have a question on, in fact, it is 2 questions. One is it a right time for startups now or to get into taking the risk of starting up now? Second is, do we need to have a lot of domain skill in becoming a startup? Are the 2 questions. So first, what is Just for Kicks? 2 and 3, the questions. Over to you. I think you're on mute, so kindly unmute, Vikas.
So sorry. Zoom calls all week and still make this. Yeah. Thanks, Santosh. And hi, everyone. I know it's almost 12 o'clock in the afternoon, time for a good lunch, but I'll try and keep it as crisp as possible. To first answer the question on what is Just for Kicks, very simply put, Just for Kicks is a social enterprise that uses football as a tool to teach 21st century life skills and leadership skills to children who attend lower budget, low income schools, which forms the bulk and majority of schools in our country. About 80% of children in India basically go to either a low budget government school or a low budget private school. So that's the bulk, and these schools are the ones wherein children don't really have access to any sort of external activity that sort of helps your personality, that sort of hones your personality, whether it be how to think analytically, how to collaborate with others, how to cope with stress, how to cope with emotions. These are skills that eventually enable you to succeed at your workplace, wherever you go. And these kids do not have that opportunity. So we use something that everyone loves, which is sport, to be able to provide that to children. So using Playground as a tool to enable all of this. That's fundamentally what Just for Kicks does. I started it back in 2011. Now we work across 7 states of India, as well as Cambodia, just launched Nepal, and we'll be launching in Nigeria soon as well. So it's going into multiple countries, not just in India, because the program is such that it's something that can be beneficial to any sort of developing country per se. So that's just on what Just for Kicks is. And on the second half of the questions that the students asked, I think it's an interesting question on whether the time is right for startups. I think there is no real right time or wrong time to be starting up. It's obviously a lot of leap of faith that you need to take as an individual. And that's something you need to have the guts for and the gumption for if you feel very strongly for a cause. So fundamentally, I would say the key thing to starting up to enable you to succeed at any point in time, whether there's a pandemic outside or not, is to know that you want to solve a customer's problem, right? You want to solve the pain of somebody. And that is fundamental to be able to start up anything. So if it's an Uber, if you want to take that, somebody wanted to really make commute easy for regular people. Or whether you come all the way down to a non-profit sector, again, somebody wanted to make someone else's life better. So solving problem is fundamental value proposition of any business. And if you have something that really sort of strikes you as something you really want to solve, chances are you will do a good job at starting up any which way. But just in terms of the logistics of the time we're in, I just raised a funding round in May of about $2 million, and I didn't have any issue raising it, to be honest. So I don't think pandemic is that big of a struggle in terms of being able to raise investment. So I would say I don't see this as a problem of starting up per se. Of course, there is a challenge of being able to build your team initially, your core team. You probably won't get enough face time with them. You will have to set processes in place to be able to work remotely and effectively, especially in the early half, right? I mean, if you're an established org, you can always do that. But in the beginning, when you want to meet people and have these brainstorming discussions as you would in a startup, that's going to be a bit of a challenge which you need to sort of navigate through. But purely from an investor, from an interest in the market point of view, there is quite a bit of interest in a lot of different ideas. especially in anything that's tech driven, even if it's in the social sector. Anything that's tech driven is something that has a lot of value. But I mean, if you look at EdTech, Byju's, Unacademy, Vedantu, all of these guys are booming in the last 3, 4, 5 months, right? Since the pandemic is open. So everything is an opportunity if you look at it as one, and you find a solution to something that solves someone's problem. So that's what I would say to whether the time is right. And in terms of skill sets, I would say the biggest advantage all of us carry as engineers is I think we have a diverse set of skills, thankfully. Whether it be analytical skills, the business acumen that we gain, and everything else that we learn in engineering purely from a tech point of view as well. They all add up to having the basic skills for you to be able to actually do a good job at starting up, or whether it's being a part of a startup as well. You don't always need to start up yourself. That's okay if you don't, but you can always join one where you feel connected to a cause. So I wouldn't per se that you need a very specific set of skills and you need to learn or go through a certain set of courses to be able to come and do that. But of course, as you go through your journey, it is important to upskill. There is no doubt about that. So whether it be through doing courses online, or it be through mentors, or it be through actually taking a couple of years off or sabbatical off and going and learning and coming back, that's helpful. But to begin, I do not think anyone needs any special set of skills. What you have today, if you can sort of leverage that effectively, I'm sure you will fit right into sort of any startup sector, whether it be social in its nature or whether it be non-social in its nature. So that's what I would say to those two questions. I think I'm also seeing a question from Mohammad Aslam. What are the roles you do as an UN ambassador? So I basically work with Malala. I'm sure you know her. She's a Nobel Prize laureate. And Gordon Brown, who's the ex-Prime Minister of the UK. So they lead an initiative with a bunch of youth around the world. And the idea is for us to all generate unique ideas that will get girls to school. So I help that initiative from an India, Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, sort of a subcontinent, Indian subcontinent point of view. Yes, that's a fundamental role I do. I advise, I give ideas on where the Malala Fund can be used, where the UN global funds can be used, and what are the current relevance in terms of girls' education in the subcontinent. So that's sort of what I do as a UN ambassador. And again, I didn't go learn anything. I didn't do a master's in this. I didn't do a master's in development. I do not have a master's degree, in fact. But it's basically coming from years of having been in the grassroots. I started with teaching. I was 2 years a teacher in a primary school in Pune. So that's where I started sort of my development sector career. So if you toil yourself out at the grassroots from the get-go, I think you will find your way irrespective of any degree that you hold. So that's what I would say to anyone who wants to pursue something out of whack or in a different direction from what you're doing today, especially given that not a lot of us would have chosen engineering. It would have been something that we were asked to do, or something as an idea that came to us always because we were brightest kids or whatever, right? So it's not necessary that all of you said, I really want to be an engineer. So if that's the case, go find what your passion is. And I think there is no better time to experiment than when you're 21, right? Like, go take a risk, experiment all you want. There's very little to lose if you experiment at that early age. And there is a good chance that what you learn in that phase of 21, 23, 24 will aid you in actually getting a good job later, even if that fails for you, right? So that's sort of what I would touch upon. And maybe if there are any other questions, I'm happy to take. But yeah, that's me. Thanks, Santosh.
All right. Thank you so much, Vikas. Great job. And I'm sure you will be available to help our students also in some way, directing them into startups and other things.
Absolutely.
So I also, thank you. I also have, as I said, Dr. Paul Mariacola. He's in the US, Texas. Unfortunately, it is midtime, so he couldn't join. But he was kind enough to share a short video about mentoring. In fact, he is an expert in mentoring first-generation students. He himself come from a first-generation graduate family, so that might have been his reason why he started mentoring first-generation students. So let's just quickly hear him out on what he has to share about mentoring. So here we go. I'm just going to share that in a second. I hope everybody is able to see this.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
So what I want to do is I want to talk to you about what is the goal of a mentor. And so definitely it is not to get you a job, but it'll definitely help you navigate a good career path. Now, the mentor might not make you rich, but will help fulfill your dreams and aspirations. We're going to look at your ambitions, we're going to look at your skill sets, and then we'll try and help you to achieve your goals, which will eventually get to your dreams. And so no two mentor and mentee relationship are the same. So it's upon you to find out, which mentor is what's most suitable, and then you want to kind of tie up with them so that they can help you. Now, we all have choices in life. And so given these choices, we got to go left or right. And so first thing is, I want to say congrats on choosing engineering. Engineers better every life on this planet in a sustainable way. That's what we do at the core of our belief. Now, you can make best choices, given what you know at any given point in time, but your knowledge is slowly growing. So at a given point of time, you don't know whether it is the best choice or not. Now, more the good decisions you make, the faster you will achieve your dream. There is no way to predict the perfect set of choices or path. And the reason I mentioned this is students have asked, what do I do? How do I do this? And stuff like that. There's no perfect way to do that. Now, luck plays some role, but in general, I believe that if you work towards your dream, then you will become luckier. So let me give you some context. I'll tell you my dream. And so, I always wanted to be an engineer. As a kid, I was tinkering with stuff, opening things up to the point of destruction. I was very passionate about engineering, and I was lucky to get into GECT. Now, GCT is very close to my home, and I used to go home daily for lunch. So that was pleasant and nice. Life was good. I had an amazing group of friends, and sports kind of became my focus while at GCT. So, but it was that sports that helped me develop my social skills and team building. And so reality strikes, 1983 comes graduation, and I realized I do not know much of engineering. So I needed more education. And so the first batch, I'm the first batch of IIT GATE entrance exam. And thanks to that new format, and there was not much entrance coaching, so I luckily got admitted to IIT Madras. I also had a job offer with ISRO. And so then I had to make a choice. And IITM professors told me that if I would help them design a wave power plant, maybe we could build one in the sea. And so the question was, should I forego the paycheck from ISRO to get educated or not? And so that was tough at that time, but then I think it was kind of okay that I went to IIT. We all have these serious decisions to make. And you will realize later that those small choices that you make is what determines what your path in life is. Now, continuous learning. The only reason I am where I am is continuous learning. There is no free lunch. Continuous learning is the name of the game. It does not have to be a formal degree, but never, ever stop learning. Now, did I plan for all this? No, never. Did I have failures? Yes, plenty. Over time, when you have enough successes, then others think that you are successful. Now, I had to make tough decisions when provided with opportunities, and you will too. So did I make all the right choices all the time? No. So your dreams now. So now you can also achieve your dreams if you work hard. But passion to achieve your dream is the fuel that drives you. The more organized and intentional you are, the faster you will reach your target goals. Life is all about choices. When you wake up, decide intentionally what are the big things you want to get done for that day. You might not achieve everything, but if you keep practicing this daily, you will reach your target faster. Engineering your luck. After all, we are engineers. The key to luck is to surround yourself around successful people. Successful people surround themselves with other successful people. So it's a vicious circle. So the trick is to get into this club. Be passionate, be genuine, and above all, show that you can make a difference. This is called networking or team building. Pick a domain. Use professional social media like LinkedIn or whatever you like. Do not go for the big numbers, but go for the value of the connections. This is the value. Time is very valuable for successful people, so be respectful of others' time. Now, take calculated risks. I had well-wishers around me all the time who showed me new opportunities. It was my decision whether to bite the bait. Mentors can only show you the path, but you must work to pick your path and bite on the bait that might come your way. Some are risky. I I left my comfortable faculty job at IIT to do an MBA as a student at Texas A&M with my wife and 2 little kids to support. That is pretty darn risky. So take calculated risk, and some of them will pay off. Now, your guiding compass. Leave this world in a better place than was given to you. Learning is a continuous lifelong process. Degrees are fine, grades are okay, but what you know and what you can do with it is what will make you successful. Education, after you learn and grow, contribute back to society. That is the whole process of education. Give back what you discovered through your journey in life. This is how civilizations have evolved. We stand on the shoulders of giants, and we have to continue this tradition.
Okay, I think that was a good summary of some of the discussions that we had. I know I'm slightly out of time, but Krishnamurthy sir, with your permission, I need 5 more minutes, if it is okay.
It's okay. Okay, Santosh.
Okay. I know this was primarily focusing on the alumnus of GECT, but we are so privileged and happy that there is a huge support from the fraternity of academicians and teachers of GECT who is supporting this. We are also privileged to have 3 teachers who have been working behind the scenes. I think one of the biggest lessons that I have learned from some of the greatest professors of my time has been becoming the epitome of humbleness. So I have seen that in the very nerve of GECT academicians, and I see that in the new generation academicians also. So I just wanted to have Dr. Naushaja, Dr. M.A. Ali, and Professor Gopi to be also recognized in this forum, because they have been working in the back end to support this initiative. We have a couple of questions. This is on behalf of alumnus. I just wanted to ask maybe Dr. Naushaja, Dr. Ali, Professor Gopi, whoever is comfortable may pick this question up. What do you think about this mentoring program going to help our students? And is there any specific advice that you wanted to give us as alumnus in supporting this initiative?
So shall I take that?
Yeah, sure, please.
Yeah, it's Gopi here. Okay. The first thing what I would like to tell is today's discussion itself is very clear. Like the different perspectives which the student is not aware of about what is happening around them. That itself is a big thing, big enabler for them to plan accordingly. So for me, like first thing is, you show them the opportunities that are available. What are the ways and means to achieve that? That is the first thing I'd say, like what we expect from this particular program. Exposure, basically exposure, and because if you look at me as a faculty, my industry is only teaching. My industry is limited to the colleges or the universities. So whereas all of the students cannot be taken into this particular industry, these students has to be given opportunities in other areas, in other various sectors. So what is happening in other areas? Knowledge on what is happening in those areas, that is what is more critical for them. And this platform should enable them to give a very good exposure and the inner information, I'll say, the inside information on these areas, what is happening there, so that they'll get an early edge, a leading edge to combat the world. That's what I say with this particular program.
Okay, great, Professor Gopi. I really wanted to thank you all on behalf of Alumni Network here. That you're all doing great job. I think to find such passionate teachers is one of the key success factors for such a program. So we really appreciate that. I try to be naughty when I get a lot of great esteemed panelists. So with Krishnamurthy sir's permission, I wanted to do a rapid fire round with some of the panelists and ask one question and give them 30 seconds. Okay, if that works. So I'm taking that as an yes. Krishnamurthy sir, you don't have a choice. Time is up. So let me start off with Krishnamurthy sir itself. Why the hell do you think this will work?
Pardon?
Why do you think this program will work?
Yeah, because it's a passion of the alumni and the desire of the students.
Fabulous. Okay, you have scored 100 marks. moving on to one of our my guru equivalent. Sir, apologize. This is rapid fire round, so I have the right given by Krishna sir to ask questions in a very blunt way. So Dattan sir, if you are asked to, or if you're summoned to come to college and help the alumni with some sessions, will you be able to join us?
Definitely.
Okay.
It will be a pleasure.
Okay.
Actually, after this program, I was just making a self-assessment. My happiness index has come up very much.
Oh, very good. So there you go, Krishna sir. Please take a note of Dattan sir's availability. Okay.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Tessie ma'am, question to you. I mean, this is not a rapid fire round. I thought there is an interesting question that has come from one of our students, which said they recently read in newspapers that a bunch of students got permission to launch their satellite using NASA. Are there opportunities for students like us to also create such mini satellites and take the help of ISRO to launch it? And if so, what are your advices?
I think Dattan sir can answer it very well. There are a lot many within our country itself. There are a lot many startups who have already taken up launching of satellites.
Okay.
And making launch vehicles.
Okay.
So it's a great opportunity. Our country is having a lot of enthusiastic engineers taking up this as forward.
Okay. So now comes my naughty question. I know you have been successful in a lot of your projects. Is there anything that you wanted to highlight as your failure also?
Failure is something where we fail is first attempt to learning. So there also we learn. The success comes out of learning more and more only.
Okay.
Part of developing first kind technologies is bound to have, we need to see from failures, we should not repeat the failure. We should come out as successors. That's what success should be there.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Santosh, one second, Santosh.
Sure.
The first question you asked to madam. See, there is a division itself in ISRO in the Satellite Center for helping the students for bringing up, developing satellites and launch.
Very good.
There is a separate thing, and there are guidelines, instruction book, and training program. All other things are there, and ISRO is giving a lot of importance for encouraging the students to come to the satellite technology. Okay. And also in the market now, modules are available plenty, in the international market, for encouraging the students for learning things, assembling the things, testing and everything. Only thing is they should come through an institute, through some authorized or recognized institute or organization or a teamwork, what they formed. It is available. There is an officer, scientist exclusively assigned with helping the students. Okay.
Fantastic.
Sir, I think our college has a link with ISRO through NIT Surathkal. And last week there was a lecture delivered by Dr. Venkata Krishnan, who is an alumnus of this college.
Yeah.
He is in the capacity build-up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he will be helping us.
Okay. Fabulous.
You are correct.
Okay, so I think we will also capture this as an input. I think these are some of the insights that we will be able to also provide our students in an ongoing process through the mentorship program, Krishna sir, I believe.
I think the students have already found a space club. That's what I heard.
Fantastic. Okay. Now, question, Anleta, are you there? I hope you are there.
I'm there.
Yeah. So when are you going to GCT with a large recruitment plan to recruit all the out of 200 odd people? Around 150 of them are students. I hope this itself should become a qualifying mark for them to be a part of your organization. So when are you going?
Last 2 jobs of mine, both in Microsoft and in SAP, I had visited GCT. So I will visit Amazon this year also, but I'm not too sure when is the timelines.
Fabulous.
It could be, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's precisely what I also intended. Okay, Vinita, question to you. You make a lot of policy. So when do you think India become a developed nation?
Oh, yes, we are almost there. So it wouldn't take many years for us to get there. I'm sure about it. Yeah. With the kind of policies being framed, we will get there soon.
That is very positive of you. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you. Arjun, I know it is late in the night for you. So Do you have large plans for setting up your centers in India?
I already have a large center in India.
Okay.
I have 40 people now. We will be growing that to another 10 people in another 2 months. We expect to be over 100 people.
Okay. Where is it now?
It's in Chennai.
Okay. So the next question is, when are you coming to Kerala?
I was there recently, but my team will be coming there in another few weeks. We'll be back. This is the third year in consecutive that we have come and recruited. Amazing. We're very, very happy.
Okay. All right. Hemendran sir, sir, are you there? I couldn't see him, so that's fine. I don't think whether Dr. Satish is there as well. Yeah, Sajish, I know you have some plans for bringing up the mentor network and things like that. Any timelines? When are we going to start off after this? Can't hear you. Very feeble.
We have a plan to get it ready by November 1st when we are launching it. And once that is on, then the actual platform development will happen and we might get the action.
Okay.
So it will be by November 1st to start off so that everyone can log in. They have a bit of what you call find the status and they can do it.
Okay. I think that was the point. I think so for all you are listening, November 1st is the formal launch of this program, and we will be having a lot of work in the background, and a lot of our colleagues and as well as the faculty community is working very hard on that. So wait for it. That's the immediate next step. I just posted the interest form. There is an interest form that we have created. We have posted that interest form. Kindly fill in your interest on how you found this program, and then whether you are interested in joining this program. So I know I took a lot more than what it was planned, but it is a privilege to be a part of this wonderful panel list, and also an honor to be hosting this event for GECT. Giving it back to Professor Krishna Kumar sir for rest of the formalities. Thank you all.
Sir, can I just add one more point?
Yeah, please do.
Santosh, can I add? Yeah. Okay, the question was already answered by Gobi, the question that was posted to the faculty. But then I thought I'll just add one more point to that, because one of the frequent queries which we normally get from the students is when they have to choose between two divergent paths. So that is one point, whether probably they would be very focused, but when it comes to the ultimate decision making, they ask for options. So that is one point where we need help from the mentors. That is, for example, students who having good score, they want to choose between go for higher studies or go for a job in a PCU. So that's one point where we normally get queries from the students. So that is also another point where we would need help from the mentors, so as to give them an exposure when they have a specific query regarding to choose between two divergent options. So I thought I would add that also as a requirement from the mentors side.
I think that's a good point, Dr. Narshada. Thank you so much.
Say something on that, because I get this question quite a lot.
Yes,
somebody asked me, I have to make a decision tomorrow. I say, go flip a coin. It's too late. Don't come to me in the last minute and ask me this question, because that's not the time to make a decision. So mentorship is a process. You have to engage a little bit so we get to know you, so we can guide you in those kind of very important questions. Don't come in the last minute and say, what do I take this job or do I take this one? Go flip a coin.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Over to you, Krishna Kumar sir.
Thank you, Santosh, for doing a wonderful way. Last 30-second question ആണ് എനിക്ക് ഏറ്റവും ഇഷ്ടമായത്. ഞെട്ടിച്ചു കളഞ്ഞു. പകരം വീട്ടിയതാവും അല്ലേ?
തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും
പകരം വീട്ടിയതാവും. എന്തായാലും ഇറ്റ്സ് എ വെരി വണ്ടർഫുൾ സെഷൻ. ഞാൻ നേരത്തെ ആ 30-second ക്വസ്റ്റിന് ആൻസർ ചെയ്ത പോലെ ഇറ്റ്സ് എ പാഷൻ ഓഫ് ദ അലുമിനി. അതുകൊണ്ട് മാത്രമാണ് നമ്മൾ ഇതിലേക്ക് ഇറങ്ങി തിരിച്ചത്. ഇത്രയും കാലമായിട്ട് എനിക്ക് വളരെയധികം അറിയാം. എന്തായാലും ഇന്ന് ഇവിടെ അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്ത എല്ലാ സ്റ്റുഡൻസിനോടും ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് വളരെ നന്ദിയും സന്തോഷമുണ്ട്. അതിന്റെ കൂടെ ഞാൻ ഒരു കാര്യം കൂടി പറയാൻ പോവാണ്. ഇത് സെലക്ഷൻ പ്രോസസ് എന്താ വേണ്ടതെന്നൊക്കെ നമ്മൾ ആലോചിച്ചിരുന്നു. ബിക്കോസ് ദിസ് is going to be a pilot project and we are going to select about 100 from the second year and 100 from the third year. ഫൈനൽ ഇയർ സ്റ്റുഡൻസിന് നമ്മൾ വേറൊരു കോമൺ ഒരു പ്രോഗ്രാം പ്ലാൻ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. അപ്പൊ ഈ എങ്ങനെയാണ് സ്റ്റുഡൻസിനെ ഇന്ന് സെലക്ഷൻ നടത്തേണ്ടത്? ബിക്കോസ് വി ഓൺലി ഹാവ് ലിമിറ്റഡ് സീറ്റ്സ് എന്നായിരുന്നു നമ്മളുടെ ഒരു ചിന്ത. അപ്പൊ ഇന്നത്തെ ഈ പ്രോഗ്രാം കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നത് അറ്റ്ലീസ്റ്റ് സെലക്ഷന് വേണ്ടി 3 ക്ലാസ്സിനെ എന്റെ മനസ്സിൽ തോന്നുന്നു. ഒന്ന്, ഇന്നിവിടെ രജിസ്റ്റർ ചെയ്ത് അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്ത കുട്ടികൾ, അതിൽ നിന്നൊരു സെലക്ഷൻ നടത്താം. 2, രജിസ്റ്റർ ചെയ്തിട്ട് അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്യാത്ത കുട്ടികൾ, അവരുടെ കയ്യിൽ നിന്നും അവരുടെ ഇടയിൽ നിന്നും ഒരു സെലക്ഷൻ നടത്താം. മൂന്നാമത്തെ ഏറ്റവും ഇമ്പോർട്ടന്റ് ലോട്ട്, ഈ ഭാഗത്തേക്കൊന്നും വരാത്ത കുട്ടികൾ, അവരെ നമ്മൾ കണ്ടുപിടിക്കണം. അപ്പൊ എനിക്ക് ടീച്ചേഴ്സിനോട് റിക്വസ്റ്റ് ഉണ്ട്, ചിലപ്പോൾ ആ മൂന്നാമത് പറഞ്ഞ ആൾക്കാർക്കായിരിക്കും ഇതുകൊണ്ട് കൂടുതൽ ആവശ്യം വരാൻ പോണത്. ലെറ്റ് us see. അപ്പൊ സെലക്ഷൻ പ്രോസസ്സ് നമ്മൾ ഓണസ്റ്റ് ആയിട്ടും ട്രാൻസ്പെറന്റ് ആയിട്ടും നടത്താനാണ് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. എന്തായാലും എല്ലാ സ്റ്റുഡൻസിനോടും ഇന്നത്തെ ഫോം രജിസ്റ്റർ ചെയ്ത് തരാൻ പറയുന്നു. വിൽ ഡു ഇറ്റ് ഇൻ എ വെരി സിസ്റ്റമാറ്റിക് മാനർ. പോർട്ടലൊക്കെ ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്ത് വരുമ്പോഴേക്കും അടുത്ത സെമിസ്റ്റർ നമ്മൾ കൂടുതൽ ആൾക്കാരെ ഉൾപ്പെടുത്തും. അവർ എയിം ഇസ് to give a mentor to each student who comes to the college for admission in 2023. അതാണ് നമ്മുടെ ഗോള്. അത് അച്ചീവ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുമെന്ന് ഞാൻ വിചാരിക്കുന്നു. എന്തായാലും നമ്മൾ ടൈം കുറച്ച് ഓവർ ഷൂട്ട് ചെയ്ത് പോയി. ഐ ഹോപ്പ് ഇറ്റ് ഇസ് വർത്ത് ബീങ് ഹിയർ. 2 മണിക്കൂർ കഴിഞ്ഞു, എന്നാലും അത് അത്രയും കഴിഞ്ഞ് തോന്നില്ല. ഒരിക്കൽ കൂടി എല്ലാവരോടും ഞാൻ നന്ദി പറയാണ്. ഔപചാരികമായിട്ട് നന്ദി പറയാൻ നമ്മളൊരു സ്റ്റുഡന്റ് പാർട്ടിസിപ്പന്റ് ഉണ്ട്. അതിനു മുമ്പ് ഞാൻ അലുമിനി അസോസിയേഷന്റെ വകയായിട്ടും ഒരു നന്ദി പ്രകാശിപ്പിക്കുന്നു. പിന്നെ അനിൽ വാര്യർ ഒരു പോസ്റ്റ് ഇട്ടത്, ഞാൻ ഒരു ചാറ്റ് ഇട്ടത് കണ്ടു. അനിൽ വാര്യറിന് വീണ്ടും കോളേജിൽ ഒന്ന് പഠിക്കാൻ ആഗ്രഹമുണ്ട് എന്നൊക്കെ അനിൽ പറഞ്ഞത് കേട്ടു. ഞാനൊരു വാർണിംഗ് തരികയാണ്, എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് മെക്കാനിക്സ് ഞാൻ തന്നെ പഠിപ്പിക്കും.
അനിലേട്ടൻ പോയി
ഇല്ല, അനിൽ അവിടെ ഉണ്ട്. അനിലിന്റെ ഒരു അസൈൻമെന്റ് തരാൻ ബാക്കിയുണ്ട്.
Just for everyone's information, KK sir started his teaching profession in our class, and probably that is his biggest regret in life.
Okay, now I invite Saubhagya of 5th semester production engineering.
So there is a change in the
Hello, ma'am.
Since Saubhagya had to leave.
Ma'am, I'm
Saubhagya,
here.
yeah.
She's available.
Yeah, I'm
she's
here.
available.
She's there. I saw the name. Yeah. Saubhagya, please.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, you are audible.
A very warm good afternoon to one and okay. So a very warm good afternoon to one and all present here. I would like to propose the vote of thanks on behalf of the entire student community. So as once quoted by Oprah Winfrey, a mentor is someone who allows you to see the hope inside yourself. And we are grateful to the alumni and students gain perspective over the interest. Not only does this initiative assure the guidance of a teacher, but also the warmth of belonging to the GEC family. So once again, I would like to express my gratitude towards all the mentors who have taken time from their busy schedules and they've taken time to guide each and every one of us. Thank you.
Meeting over, sir. Krishnamar, sir. Your mic
is on mute.
I think meeting will be closed now. So we'll come back to you about the progress of
everybody on the panel. Can you share
we'll come back to you.
One more thing is, your 4 of your final year students wanted me to be their mentor, but after 4 weeks they ran away. They were finding it very difficult to even keep track of the time they are spending.
Okay, we'll try to find a solution for all that.
Yeah.
ഇതിന് പാരലായിട്ട് നമ്മൾ ചില മെന്ററിംഗ് പ്രോഗ്രാംസ് തുടങ്ങിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. I think Sangameshwaran, who is an expert on cyber security, is guiding a few students of computer science for their final year project. And Mahesh is running a ഇലക്ട്രോണിക് ട്രെയിനിങ് ഇൻസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂട്ട് ഇൻ തൃശൂർ, എംബഡഡ് സിസ്റ്റംസ്, അങ്ങനെ പലതും. അതും കുട്ടികളുടെ പ്രോജക്റ്റ് സപ്പോർട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടി ഹെൽപ്പ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്, ഇലക്ട്രിക്കൽ ആൻഡ് ഇലക്ട്രോണിക്സ് ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റ്. അപ്പൊ അങ്ങനെ കുറെ പ്രോഗ്രാംസ് തുടങ്ങിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. വിൽ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ഇൻ എ സിസ്റ്റമാറ്റിക് മാനർ.
Okay, sure, sir.
Thank you, everybody. We will catch up pretty soon in other forums. Thank you, sir. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, and we will take leave.
Sure, madam. Thank you so much.